The rain hammered against the glass windows of Sterling Innovations, headquarters as Victoria Chen signed the last contract of an exhausting day. At 42, she had built an empire from nothing, transforming a small tech startup into a billion-dollar corporation. She had everything the world told her to want: power, wealth, respect. Yet as she gathered her belongings and prepared to leave her corner office for another empty penthouse, she couldn't shake the hollow feeling that had become her constant companion. The elevator doors opened to the lobby, where the marble floors gleamed under crystal chandeliers. Victoria's heels clicked sharply as she walked toward the exit, her mind already on tomorrow's merger meetings. She barely noticed the small figure huddled near the revolving doors until she nearly stepped on his worn sneakers. A boy, no older than 8, sat cross-legged on the floor with a piece of cardboard and a red marker. His clothes were clean but faded, his dark hair slightly damp from the storm outside. What stopped Victoria in her tracks wasn't his presence, but the words scrawled on his makeshift sign: "Ma'am, my dad needs a wife." "Excuse me." Victoria's voice came out sharper than she intended. The boy looked up with eyes too serious for his age. "My dad needs a wife," he repeated simply, as if it were the most logical statement in the world. "Are you married?" Victoria's security chief, Marcus, approached quickly. "I'm sorry, Ms. Chen. I'll have him removed immediately." "Wait." Victoria held up her hand, curiosity overtaking her irritation. She crouched down, her designer coat pooling around her. "What's your name, and why are you sitting in my building?" "I'm Oliver, and I'm here because my dad works on the 20th floor. He's still up there cleaning offices." The boy's chin lifted with quiet pride. "He works 3 jobs, but it's not enough. We need help, and I thought maybe someone important like you might know a nice lady who needs a husband." Something in Victoria's chest cracked. "Where's your mother, Oliver?" "She died when I was 5. Cancer." He said it matter-of-factly, but his small hands twisted the marker. "Dad does his best, but he's always tired. He never smiles anymore. I heard Mrs. Patterson at school say that what he really needs is a good woman in his life, someone to share the load. So I made a sign." Victoria sat down fully on the cold marble floor, not caring about her $1,000 coat. "You know, that's not exactly how finding a wife works." "I know," Oliver admitted, his voice small. "But I didn't know what else to do. Dad won't take charity. He says we make our own way. But I see how he holds his back when he thinks I'm not looking. I see him skip meals so I can eat more. I just want to help him, the way he helps me." In that moment, Victoria saw herself at 8 years old, watching her own single mother work herself to exhaustion, too proud to ask for help, too tired to see any way out. She'd promised herself then that she'd be different, that she'd succeed so completely she'd never feel that powerless again. And she had succeeded, beyond her wildest dreams. But somewhere along the way, she'd forgotten what she was succeeding for. "Take me to your father," Victoria said quietly. Oliver's eyes widened. "Really? You'll meet him." "I'll meet him." They rode the elevator to the 20th floor in silence. Victoria's mind raced with possibilities, none of them involving romance but all of them involving change. The floor was dark except for a utility closet's light spilling into the hallway. A man emerged pushing a cleaning cart, his janitor's uniform hanging loosely on his thin frame. When he saw Oliver, his exhausted face transformed with a smile that didn't quite reach his worried eyes. "Ollie, what are you doing up here? You're supposed to wait in the cafeteria where it's warm." Then he noticed Victoria, and his expression shifted to mortified confusion. "Ms. Chen, I'm so sorry, has my son been bothering you?" "Your son," Victoria said carefully, "has been enlightening me. Your name is James. James Rivera." "Ma'am, if Oliver did something wrong, he did something extraordinary." Victoria looked between father and son, seeing the love that bound them, the quiet desperation both tried to hide. "He reminded me that success means nothing if you're not using it to lift others up." Over the next hour, sitting in the empty cafeteria with terrible vending machine coffee, James told his story. His wife's illness had bankrupted them despite insurance. He was rebuilding, slowly, refusing handouts but drowning in the effort. Oliver added details his father tried to minimize, painting a picture of a man who sacrificed everything for his child. Victoria listened, really listened, in a way she hadn't in years. When James finally fell silent, embarrassed by his own vulnerability, she made a decision that would have shocked her board of directors. "James, I'm going to offer you something, and I want you to hear me out before you refuse." She leaned forward. "Sterling Innovations is launching a community outreach program. We're going to hire people who've faced significant hardships and provide them with training, competitive salaries, and benefits. You'll be employee number 1. Not because of pity, but because someone with your work ethic and determination is exactly who we need." James's eyes filled with tears. "Ms. Chen, I can't accept charity. It's not charity. It's justice." Victoria's voice grew fierce. "The world beat you down for loving your wife and fighting for your son. I'm offering you a hand up, not a handout. You'll work for every penny. But you'll work 1 job, not 3. You'll have insurance that actually covers things. You'll have time to be Oliver's father, not just his provider." "Why?" James whispered. "Why would you do this?" Victoria looked at Oliver, who was watching her with hopeful eyes that reminded her of the little girl she used to be. "Because your son asked me to help, and he reminded me that I have the power to say yes. Because I built an empire but forgot to build a legacy. Because kindness isn't weakness, it's the strongest thing we can offer each other." 3 months later, Victoria stood in her office looking at a photograph on her desk. It showed her, James, Oliver, and 20 other new employees at the launch of the Sterling Second Chances program. James was thriving in the facilities management training program. Oliver was doing better in school, his father finally present for homework and soccer games. But the real change was in Victoria herself. The hollow feeling had been filled with something she'd lost in her climb to the top: purpose. She'd started mentoring, volunteering, using her resources to create opportunities rather than just accumulate zeros in her bank account. The boy who'd asked her to find his father a wife had given her something far more valuable than he could have imagined. He'd reminded her that the best things in life aren't things at all. They're connections, compassion, and the courage to care when the world tells you to be cold. Victoria never did find James a wife, but she found something better: she found herself again. And in doing so, she discovered that the truest measure of success isn't what you build for yourself, but what you build for others. Oliver's cardboard sign had changed everything, proving that sometimes the most powerful people in the world are the ones brave enough to simply ask for help, and the ones compassionate enough to answer.